Slasher movies have never gotten a lot of respect. Neither has horror as a genre for the most part. In 1980, Paramount released Friday the 13th. Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert, arguably the biggest film critics at the time, absolutely loathed the Friday the 13th and delighted in trashing it on their TV show.
I dread going to these kinds of movies. It really has become the most depressing part of my job as a film critic.
Scathing critical response to low-budget horror films was not uncommon at the time.
It stinks.
But not only did Siskel and Ebert seem to have disdain for the film, but also for the filmmakers themselves. They accused them of exploiting, denigrating, and outright having animus toward women.
When you view women constantly as sport, being stabbed, I think that's a sort of a sick notion that just sort of makes it's degrading. You view them as second class, that somehow this is acceptable behavior.
Never mind that just as many men get killed as women in the movie, or that the killer is revealed to be a woman and ultimately dispatched by a woman who has to pick up a machete to save her own life. The accusation of misogyny was an undercurrent of every criticism they leveled against the film. Betsy Palmer, who played Mrs. Voorhees, didn't take the movie too seriously when she was cast, and famously said that she pretty much took the role to pay for a new car. But over the years, she embraced the part and found the fun in the fandom. She came to understand that the audiences for these films enjoyed them because they were a wild ride, a fun house of suspense, surprise, and shock that gave a mostly young audience an experience that they could enjoy and even revel in. Something that Siskel and Ebert seemed to never understand.
And how do you know which films to stay away from? Usually you can tell by the ads. R-rated, usually has a knife or a hatchet or an axe, a girl screaming, some guy in a hood.
Yes.
These movies are junk, give them a pass.
Gene Siskel, in his disgust, called Sean Cunningham one of the most despicable creatures to ever infest the movie business. And armed with his claims of woman hatred perpetrated by the makers of the film, decided that the best course of action to punish those responsible in the name of women everywhere was to publicly shame actress Betsy Palmer. How dare she take part in this trash? So, in his article for the Chicago Tribune, he published her hometown of Rowayton, Connecticut, and encouraged people to write her nasty letters to express their disapproval in her choices and to scold her for taking part in the movie. Misogyny solved. Way to go, Gene. He also spoiled the ending to the film in the third paragraph of his review in an attempt to dissuade people from going to see it. Now here's a spoiler alert. It didn't work. The movie made over $40 million on its initial release and spawned a franchise that still engages fans today.
You know, they outlawed bullfighting because it was cruel. I almost have some of the same feeling toward these kinds of films.